Oh shit! Get out the car, man!
Oh man, this is a cop car.
This is a...
Hello.
You boys like Mexico? Yeah!
Hola, mi nombre es Nacho, bienvenidos de vuelta al canal. Sorry about that, I left the Latino filter on. So Blue Beetle premiered worldwide, and... who the fuck is Blue Beetle? Right, unfortunately for Blue Beetle, the movie that was supposed to cure superhero fatigue, the circumstances surrounding it created the perfect storm for it to underperform. But before I get to that, let's run quickly through the plot. The story focuses on Jaime and his family who lived in a majority Latino neighborhood in the outskirts of Palmera City. Working as a cleaner one day, he saves Jenny Court from his evil stepmom, which leads to him receiving the stolen scarab from her later, and after it goes up his ass, turns him into a man-alien hybrid. From there, Jaime alongside his family have to fight the evil stepmom, played by Susan Sarandon, what are you even doing here, Susan? And his cyber-enhanced henchman, Ignacio. Ignacio?
That's crazy!
Now, because I watched this movie prematurely, if you know what I mean, I can't really talk about the CGI, which looked decent for what I could tell, but there were some other things that were brought to my attention. First of all, why did all the music came from 1993? If they wanted to insert generic Latino music, they nailed it. But Luis Miguel? I mean, at least they didn't play Despacito in it. This is a film that was very highly marketed to Latino audiences, which made people easily compare it to Black Panther. And as a Latino, I was able to see some of the representation aspects of the film. For example, the big concept of a present family and how parents love and advise their kids, how all the family sticks and in most cases live together, little things like having plain tortillas as a snack, or a scene where instead of ammonia, they wake Jaime up with big paper rub. You see, I saw those because it's also part of my culture. Despite me being Argentinian and not Mexican, it's great, little cool Easter eggs that Latinos would notice. But unlike the black community, I said Latinos are not overly crazy about their representación. I of course don't speak for all the Latin community, that would be impossible. Anyone who says they do, they're full of shit. Sure, we love seeing countrymen and women in movies. If we notice a character with a Latino name, we invest a bit more in them. But yeah, that's as far as that goes. We're not gonna automatically like your movie and run into the theaters because of, check notes, there's an abuela in it. And that's where I think the director went wrong here. Because not only they released the film during the strikes, meaning that they couldn't actually do a lot of promotion, but also instead of doing a film that would appeal to a broad audience with Latino elements in it, the vast majority of the marketing was, you should go watch this film because of Latinos. And that's crazy. That would be like me saying you should like this video and subscribe to this channel because of Latinos.
Latina Turner!
No, amigo, estás tirando cualquiera. Estás queriendo que la gente vaya a ver esta película que hiciste con un aire en los 90, novela mexicana de los 90, que los mexicanos sufrieron cruzando la frontera. In an interview, Angel Soto confirmed, the film featured an illegal immigration allegory. There is a history that exists before an ice raid. A history that includes traveling miles and danger, working hard, becoming a family, creating memories, and thinking that everything is going to be okay. To which me, a Latino living in a foreign country, would say, if you need to illegally immigrate into a different country, that probably means your country is fucked. And if you get caught immigrating illegally, you probably deserve what the law is gonna give to you. Why are you trying to send a political message in your movie though? Is it because you saw how well that worked in Wakanda Forever? He also compared Caparat's story with the character of Bane, saying that they both were a product of their environment and tying their story to the history of colonialism in Latin America and the Caribbean. To which the creator of Bane, quite accurately, responded, well, that's a lot of horseshit.
Damn! I'm sorry.
Soto did not stop there with the identity politics marketing. He would question if having a Latino superhero on a Times Square billboard was possible. Speaking with Collider, he said the film needed a theatrical release because it featured a Latino superhero and a Latino family, and highlights Latino culture different than other films. Hola, soy Nacho. Can you say llórame un río? That means cry me a river in Spanish.
I'm learning a lot.
I mean, have you not watched Coco? My point is that leaning so much on this aspect does more harm than good, and it's reflected in the box office numbers. No one is fucking watching this. And not because it's a bad movie, it's alright, it's not gonna blow your head off, but because of all this bullshit they added on top of it. There's also a lot of plot inconsistencies. For example, Blue Beetle himself, his powers come from the armor itself, a nanomachine type Venom style thingamabob that lets Jamie access any weapon he can think of. This, however, is not explained until an hour and 45 minutes into the movie. If you didn't tell me, I say that this guy's special ability is screaming.
I'm sorry.
If I had to defend this somehow, it would be by saying that because it's the first time he's experienced having powers, it makes sense that he sucks at it. Being able to weaponize your imagination is cool, it's like being a Green Lantern, but it would obviously take a lot of practice. If this movie ever sees a sequel, which I doubt it would be a great opportunity to flash out some really cool and creative weapons. But his real superpower is family. But for real, this guy does the least heroic things in his own movie. He had to get rescued at least 4 times. Even when fighting the main bad guy, Ignacio, he chooses to stop the suit from killing him, which proves to be a very poor choice later, because he's not a killer. He actually does try to kill him later, by the way. And then his nana, la abuela, smokes 7 dudes with a disco LMG because Viva la Revolución. How does that make any fucking sense? One of Susan's scientists lets Jaime go at the cost of his life because Susan was calling him Sanchez, where his actual name was... Who gives a fuck? The only thing I liked about the movie was Caprax, because the actor looked and acted badass, and they did give him a cool backstory and motive. An hour and 50 minutes into the film, in like a 30-second black and white flashback that was spoken in Guatemaltecan. Even I needed subtitles for that. They also said that this movie doesn't bring anything new to the genre, and they were not lying. Cause sure, we got a lot of reference like the Mantis blades, we got what looks to be Thor's hammer at one point, the Buster sword, there's even a Mortal Kombat reference in this. But how the hell did this kid imagine the ZF-1 from the Fifth Element?
My favorite.
There's also not a lot of funny haha moments in this movie, which I normally wouldn't mind if they were trying to convey a more serious tone like The Watchmen. But they did try to make jokes, just not really funny ones. One that you probably heard about is that Batman was a fascist. According to the director, apparently, there's not a real explanation why. It was just a funny line. Was it though? Cause I didn't laugh. It literally came out of the blue, no pun intended. It's a joke with no meaning, just some sort of fuck you to the elite cause Batman is rich. I believe his parents getting shot in an alley already counted for that. Why is everyone calling things they don't like fascist?
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
And finally, Solo. Solo Maridueña. The lead of this film, who's been following on the trend of many Hollywood performers nowadays of opening his mouth big enough to make me not like him. But despite anything dumb he might have said in any of his interviews, I'm not gonna even bother backlogging any of them. I'm just gonna highlight this.
Representation matters, you dealing with a monster. I'm about to be a star like Al Pacino and Leo DiCaprio.
Cringe. Cringe. Don't do that, don't sing. Representation matters and you're dealing with a monster. Half of his IMDb roles are voiceovers or podcasts. This guy really thinks he's gonna be the next Al Pacino? This guy. Hola, soy Nacho. Can you say creído? That means full of himself in Spanish. I honestly wouldn't be too quick to launch my success arc with this particular film. So yeah, Blue Beetle is not a bad film. It was again a very poorly marketed one. And even after its initial very lukewarm openings, news outlets are trying to paint it as a success. I mean, beating Barbie in weekend earnings? Barbie premiered 4 weeks ago and has already made $1 billion. This movie will be lucky to break even. That is literally the dumbest thing they could have said. If you have 2 hours of your day that you don't know how to spend, I'd say give it a go. You might like it, you might not. A lot of jokes are gonna fly over your head if you don't know things like who the Chaplain was. But like I said, it's not a terrible film, it's just more of the same. But But if you watch this far into the video, leave us a like. Let me know in the commentaries down below. Who was your favorite Latin actor? Benicio del Toro, Frankie Four Fingers, and as always, I've been Nacho. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.